So I always tell my staff that it's important to start talking about dessert, coffee, before the dinner has concluded. Sometimes it's a nice idea when you're seating a guest to teach your host to say, by the way, you have to save room for that chocolate ganache cake. It's amazing. And that's going to stick in their mind, and when it comes back around. They're 3/4 of the way finished with their entrees. Would you like me to start preparing a cappuccino or an espresso for you? Are you saving room for this dessert? I can have the kitchen start preparing that now. So just being ahead of it before they get a chance to think about, oh, I need the check. You inform them of what we have. If they want it, they're going to choose it then, and it's going to be ready in a timely fashion. As long as you're anticipating the needs of your guest and you know all the things that you can offer them, you're armed with it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get that sale.
Hey guys, this is Sid Patel, CEO of Beverage Trade Network, and we are back with the Inside the Drinks business. I'm here inside the drinks business. I'm here with Jesse Hiney, who leads the beverage operations at this particular restaurant. We're going to, take advice from him on how to drive profitability, how to run an efficient operation, and at the same time grow your top line. Jesse, thanks for having me here.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here.
Give us a little context about this business and where we are. I mean, you explained me the group's model. Why don't we give us a little recap about that to our audience, and then, just personally your career highlights.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're here at Roanoke Hospitality. This is Roanoke Restaurant. It is the flagship restaurant in the group. All of our restaurants are located in hotels, some on the Loop and some down the Mag Mile. We're in the process of doing a lot of exciting things, opening new restaurants and changing concepts. So it's a really exciting time. There are a lot of different themes. For the restaurants, we have Mexican radio, we have La Bella, so that's Mexican food, Italian food. We have a Roanoke, which is we're American cuisine. Then Grill on 21 is over in the La Salle Hotel, and that's a fine dining steakhouse, really nice restaurant over there. We're in the Loop of Chicago, as I said, mostly, which is sort of a unique environment in that it is the financial district of Chicago. So the time and the day in which we're busy is a little different from a lot of more traditional restaurants, where most traditional restaurants are super busy on the weekends, Fridays and Saturday nights. We do most of our business during the week. Now, on the weekends, we do see a lot of the theater crowd, which is exciting and great because we have a lot of theater, lyric opera nearby. But it's an interesting business that we have here. Happy hour is very, very strong. All the stockbrokers, when they get out of work, they want to come to Roanoke and enjoy some cheese curds and our old-fashioned, maybe a glass of wine or a beer. So it's an exciting area to be in.
Super. And tell us about yourself. I mean, how did you end up at this place or in Chicago?
I'm a hospitality lifer. I've been in the business my whole life. My first job in the restaurant business was when I was 18 years old. I worked my way from North Carolina to Washington, D.C. to Chicago. I worked 12 years in Washington, D.C. for restaurant groups such as Knightsbridge Restaurant Group, Passion Food Hospitality, the Alta Brea Group out of New York City, as well as a BLT Restaurant Group out of New York City. I moved here, worked again for the BLT Restaurant Group, as well as Trulux, and I landed here at Roanoke Hospitality, and I'm having a really great time here with these guys.
Super. I think there must be something, right, that, the way groups operate, especially the multi-different cuisine kind of groups, we'll get into that. So let's start with the main thing, Jesse, why, I'm here, and which I loved about your, when I read about your comments on LinkedIn and, that you are a business-focused person when it comes to driving profitability. If I asked you the first question, when you look at the restaurant and you were given a task to increase or fix their beverage program, what are the 3 or 4 things that you first immediately would ask the owner or start auditing?
Sure. What systems are in place? That's really number one. I think that if you have passion for beverage, if you have delicious cocktails and a great wine list, that's really important. But if you don't have a way of monitoring your bartenders, if you don't have a way of taking inventory properly, if you don't have a way of calculating what the actual costs are, you're just, oh, well, maybe that should be $18, but you didn't realize that you're using a scotch that costs you $18 for a pour. You're not going to end up making a profit. So systems are the first most important thing that you need to have. I think the second most important thing is who's hiring and how are you hiring? What are the standards that you're looking for when you hire someone? Because your team has to have integrity, has to have honesty, it has to have the knowledge. You can't just hire the best bartender that's ever made a cocktail for you. You have to hire people that you can trust. You have to hire people who want to follow through with your ideas. And if they don't have buy-in, then you're not going to be successful getting those systems into place. So building that team, that would be number 2, hiring. And the third most important thing that I think a lot of operators kind of miss is keep it simple. The more complex you make it, the more difficult it is going to be for people to enjoy the product that you have to offer. It's nice to have one maybe 7-ingredient cocktail, or maybe use some molecular mixology here or there, some dry ice, or any of these new innovative ways of making a cocktail. But at the end of the day, a 3-ingredient cocktail is what most people are looking for. You have so many people that come to Chicago from smaller cities in the United States where they're not exposed to the things that we are exposed to in the big cities. And I think I've found in my career, and I found myself to have done the same thing. When I put together my first wine list, it had so many esoteric wines on there that only I knew what they were, where they came from. 2013, I think I put a Chateauneuf de Pape Blanc on a wine list, and I'm pretty sure it's still there because nobody drinks that, unfortunately. It's delicious juice, but people don't drink it. So you need to make sure that you have wines that are approachable. You need to have a Cabernet, a Merlot, a Chardonnay, a Sauvignon Blanc. It's great to have a Viognier or any number of esoteric wines on your list, but you have to keep it simple so the guest understands what they're looking for. There's a reason that the espresso martini and the old fashioned are the most popular cocktails over the last 20 years. Everyone is doing it, everyone understands it, and they don't walk into the bar and have to figure it out. Nobody wants to figure it out when they go out to dinner. It's hospitality. We're there for them. So that would be the third thing I would say, is keep it simple.
A lot of people focus on the food, when it comes to, especially the chef-driven restaurant, for example. Beverage is sort of the not paid attention to. How would you know what is the potential of a beverage program? First of all, if I ask you, let's say if you were looking at, and also just give us a context about the number of seating of the staff in this operation, so we have some context. If someone told you that, hey, increase the sales by 2x, and you say, you got to be kidding me. But at the same time, you will, at some location, you will say, I can do it, right? So how do you analyze that, first of all, that there is an upside? What comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind is where are they right now? Look at that check average, try to figure out, look at the average cost, look at the most frequently sold item on the cocktail menu on the wine list, and why. Try to figure out, why are people gravitating to those particular items? Are they gravitating to them because they're the items that they know? Are they gravitating to them because it's the lowest priced wine by the glass, for example? It depends on the neighborhood you're in. It depends on your clientele. You have to look at a lot of different factors to figure out where you can go. If somebody said to me, "Oh, I want you to increase by 2 times," I would laugh at them, and I would say, "Okay, well let's start by 2%. Let's start by $4. Let's start by increasing it incrementally." It's very easy to increase a check average, or just with that second cocktail. So what's the most important piece that we didn't discuss in the first round? It is that training. We can train anyone to sell more just with the knowledge. The knowledge is the most important piece, and I bring that piece to every restaurant I join. I also have a passion for not only food but wine, cocktails. I have a passion for the whole business, including the business side itself. So that makes it easy for me. For example, I often enter a restaurant and I know they sell bottled water, but it's not appearing on the tables. I'm wondering, and if I'm ordering the beverages, including the non-alcoholic beverages, and I'm never ordering bottled water, I ask myself, well, that's the easiest piece to the puzzle right there. That's the first piece to the puzzle, is that bottled water. They're already coming for food. You know people are going to drink water. Let's not even talk about the cocktails yet. Let's talk about water. I remember a restaurant that I started to work in, and this happens in every restaurant that I join actually. They were not selling any water. They were selling maybe a case or two in a month. In 2 or 3 months of talking about it, 10 cases every 2 weeks.
What are some good ways to sell water? Because personally, sometimes I feel offended if I'm in a restaurant. I have to say, no, I don't want it. You know, it's very, as a guest, it's very in your face. Mm-hmm. You're being forced to drink a paid water. Mm-hmm. You know, so what are some good ways to softly do this?
And it's very specific. The verbiage that I have my staff use at every restaurant is very specific. It's super important that you always offer the free option first. So, would you like iced water or would you like bottled water? And that leaves it up to them. If they want to choose ice water, great. Conversation's over, we move on to your cocktail or whatever comes next. If they say bottled water, then you say still or sparkling, and again, it's over. We don't want to pressure anyone in the hospitality business. We're here to provide, to curate, and to take care of you. But being in a hotel, you have a lot of international folks, and so they don't trust the water they have at home, so not offering the bottled water is also doing your guest a disservice.
I mean, that's a fantastic point, like, you know, and I'm sure you have something for the later as well, the coffee and the tea, right, after everything's done.
Of course.
So why don't we add that as well, the first is water and the last can be something like that?
For sure. So I always tell my staff that it's important to start talking about dessert, coffee, before the dinner has concluded. Sometimes it's a nice idea when you're seating a guest to teach your host to say, by the way, you have to save room for that chocolate ganache cake. It's amazing. And that's going to stick in their mind when it comes back around. In the loop, because it is the business district, people often have to be in and out, especially at lunchtime. So you have to prepare them for that ahead of time. You know, they're 3/4 of the way finished with their entrees. Would you like me to start preparing a cappuccino or an espresso for you? Are you saving room for this dessert? I can have the kitchen start preparing that now. So just being ahead of it before they get a chance to think about, oh, I need the check. You inform them of what we have. If they want it, they're going to choose it then, and it's going to be ready in a timely fashion. And I think it's really important that you always have that check ready for them. Right around the time that the entree has dropped, I instruct my staff to print out that check so that whenever they need it, you have it ready for them. And as long as you're anticipating the needs of your guest and you know all the things that you can offer them, you're armed with it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get that sale.
I mean, I'll play a little devil's advocate here as well, as a consumer. Lately, I mean, you've seen the cycles. Like lately, we've seen hospitality standards go down because of various reasons, like staff issues we had and this and that. You know, and this check thing, sometimes, you know, you're eating halfway your meal and the dessert question is asked and I say no, and then boom, you know, it's not even finished and your check is here and then the waiter goes. All right, so that's like, in a nice place as well, you know, you spend $200 for 2 people and still this experience is happening. You know, so I want to pick your brain on, you know, how can people time this in a way where the guest is not feel rushed and is feel genuine hospitality is happening, not for the tip or rushing, you know. So sad to see when everything is empty, why are you rushing?
Yeah, that's definitely training, for sure. That's training, that's also hiring. I try to look for...
so it's not intentional, it's not like some timer is there.
Well,
they're being pressured that, hey, get them out if they're not ordering anything. Is that true?
So Sid, this is a really complex question, to be honest with you, because it has to deal with the managers. It has to deal with the culture.
It goes way top on the culture.
Absolutely.
Understood.
So when the managers know what we're going to be doing and how we're going to be doing it, and then we disseminate that down to the staff, and then we hold them accountable on a daily basis, and we do that over a short or longer period of time, that's when it happens. But you have to have the rules in place, you have to have the systems. They have to know what it is that you expect out of them and what's going to happen if
it's not their fault, but that's what you're saying. It's a system in place of that particular account, let's say.
If you say, for now on, we're not going to clear a table until everyone has finished, and the staff are still doing that, then you have to deal
Then
with
it's a
that, and
staff
that's
issue.
a discipline problem.
Understood.
But otherwise, it's a management problem. That's a really, really big deal in an environment where it is super busy, where you'll
That's
take
true.
a plate away from somebody who has finished. Meanwhile, this other person hasn't finished. I tell the story to my staff. Let's say you're out with your mom, your dad, and your brother and your sister, and mom's talking because she loves to talk during dinner with the family, and so everybody else, we're eating our food, and we finish. And the waiter or the busboy comes by and clears all the food away except mom. How does mom feel? She feels like she has to rush. She feels like she can't finish her food. We've now turned what was a nice experience for mom into an uncomfortable experience. So I think if you train your staff and you explain it to them in a way that they can understand and feel, then the training happens so much faster.
Lovely, I love that. So let's go back on that profitability curve. You said some great points. Now comes the main sort of first sale or upselling sort of things. So how do you, if I just ask a top level question, how would you grow your revenue? Like just get people drinking more?
It's two things that come to mind. It's that second drink. Just this week, because in a restaurant we go over the same things and we go through and then we come back around and go over them again and again, but getting that second drink. So I asked my staff at one of our shift meetings, when do you start asking for that, whether they want that second drink or not? And most of them know, because we've been through this before, but when they're about a quarter away finished, that's the time you say, would you like another cocktail? Additionally, when the entrees are about to come, you already know what they're having. You already know what's going to pair well with that. Suggest, would you like the Cabernet this evening with your steak frite? And 9 times out of 10, especially if they don't know wine or they don't know what they want next, they're going to go with what you suggest because you're the expert in that situation. So I tell my staff, you got to confidently suggest, not force, not push, but confidently suggest that they try this. And if you're passionate and knowledgeable about it, you're going to be all the way there every single time. I was a server for a good long time, and I was pretty good at it because I knew my products. So you say to me, you want a gin martini. I say, okay, would you like Old Raj? Would you like Bombay Sapphire? I really like Monkey Shoulder. It's very complex, 47 different, and you just show what you know. I always like to sandwich an expensive item with a medium price item and then a lower price item in an effort to get that medium price item sold.
And you have to read the consumer, right? If the eyebrows are getting raised at that high, you immediately go something low.
Right, or medium. That's my thing. So like with menu engineering, for example, oftentimes you'll put a really, really expensive item on a menu just to get that second most expensive item.
Do you look
sold.
at, sometimes if there are polished stock finance 65-year-old guys, you will obviously offer a 18-year-old or something, let's say. And if they're just two young boys, you can't offer that because it looks silly. So is there some ways you read the customer and offer?
For sure. You have to know your customer. You have to know the trends. So if you're talking about someone who's younger, maybe a high-end tequila is the way that you're going to go.
True.
So you want to go in the direction. Or, for example, we have a very special tequila that I bought, and the reason I bought it was because it's a really cool bottle, to be honest, but it's an extra añejo, and I thought when I saw this bottle, we have to do some social media activation with this because people are going to ask, what is that? So I created a promotion where if you want to taste this very expensive tequila, I'll give it to you for $10 a pour, okay? But in exchange, what you have to do for me is you have to post and tag us on social media. So they get an experience out of it.
Yeah.
That experience is shared with the world or a part of the world.
You did your marketing through it.
And
I
we
like
get
that
our
thing.
marketing as well, and it pays for the beverage. So yeah, you definitely have to know, and the older I get, the less in touch I am with the younger people.
Let's say you have one sommelier, 7 days, did the same thing, served like 100 tables, and then you had another sommelier who served 100 tables, similar sort of, everything was same, let's say. Why did one person do so many sales? So there is that variable in that person, right? No matter how much you do. What have you seen, like, some experiences or some, words or key points that that this guy is going to make it? What are those kind of observations?
Well, I really think a lot of it's personality, and that personality comes from confidence. If you know your product, one of my jobs as a restaurant manager and as a human being is to build people's confidence.
True.
Because everyone will perform better if they're more confident at what they're doing, and won't even try if they don't know what they should be doing. So the confident sommelier is definitely going to sell more. And it has to be that confidence with a hint of apathy. I'm here to provide you with the best possible experience, but if you don't want it, that's okay with me. You can order the Rombauer Chardonnay if you'd like. I would suggest this Côte de Bun, and this is why. And again, you give them the information. If they don't want it, great. Also, you have the tools. Let them taste the product. If you're confident in what you are saying and you're genuine, you mean what you're saying, then you can back it up with the product. You don't want to make a big sale today and then never have that guest come back. Sometimes it's better to sell a $95 bottle of wine to a guest who will then come back and order that $150 bottle of wine that you tried to sell them the first time.
We don't normally talk about, which is retention rate. Is there any metrics or there that you have to hit? Like, okay, I need repeat customers of 15% a year, and are they responsible for that? Like, is there any way that's aligned, their incentives with that?
In terms of metrics, not in this establishment. However, that is philosophically what our goal is every time.
Okay.
Our goal is to get someone to come back. I know at a shift meeting the other day, it was interesting. One of my servers said, when I first started working here, I wouldn't say, hey, we'll see you next time, or next time you come, you should try the lamb hummus or whatever the case may be, because this server thought, well, it's a hotel. They're transient. They're not coming back. But then he started to see that, yes, people are coming back because this is the financial district. These people, we are sort of the cafeteria for the Loop area. And I said, additionally, people often come to Chicago for conventions. Chicago is a very increasingly popular place. So I've encountered in my short time here at Roanoke Restaurant, multiple people come in. Oh yeah, we came here last year for this. Ausco is a big event that's about to occur at McCormick Place, and it happens every year. 40,000 people come into the city, and it's oftentimes the same people. So our goal is, especially in this environment, is to create a comfortable environment that you just want to come back to.
On the systems, right? You said when you started, you got to have systems in place. Can you walk us through what are those systems in little detail?
So, like the trading piece. So
Training.
Yeah.
It's a whole document to system.
Absolutely. SOPs for everything. Roanoke Hospitality, way before me, had a whole set of standard operating procedures. These are key. Like I say, if you don't know what is expected of you, then you can't be held accountable and you can't be consistent. But if you have all of your systems in place, what are the rules for this, that, what if this happens? And the most important thing is utilizing a manager. Managers are not here just to walk around in a suit and smile at everyone and occasionally ask how their chicken is. That's not what our job is. Our job is to enhance the hospitality. Our job is to ensure that everything happens sort of in the same way every night. The consistency is super, super important. So Danny Meyer wrote Setting the Table, probably the most influential restaurant book of all time, and I steal phrases from him all the time, but constant gentle pressure is the best way to train someone. So, where's your tray for that beverage? You didn't serve from the left, you are clear from the right. You didn't pour the wine from the right side. Just little things, little reminders, and the more you do that and the more all of us do it, these systems will become a way of life.
They'll become a habit for them then.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So that is training. Then software or inventory management, all other things are there as well?
Yeah, so I really enjoy Roanoke Hospitality and my job here because we have a lot of software to help us out. I am a big fan of apps and things to, I can pull out my phone and I can see what our sales are if I'm on vacation. If I've gone home for the night, I can check at any time. Okay, great. We did 25K in sales today. We have a thing called Avero, which tells us things like check average and items that are sold more than other items. And I frankly nerd out at these things sometimes. I'll sit at home and like, oh wow, I didn't realize the new cocktail is selling so well, and
Nice.
nobody had ever heard of it before. This kind of thing. So we have software for booking private events, for obviously booking reservations. We have software for tracking reviews, for every metric that you can think of, and it's a lot of fun.
A KPI of a manager, let's go back. What is manager responsible for, and what is an advice for a manager from you?
If you're a restaurant manager in particular, you should care about what you're doing. You should be doing it for the right reasons. I think oftentimes folks become servers, they become bartenders, they decide, I want to try something different, and they go in the realm of, I'll try management. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. It always works out if you do it because it's for the love of the game. That's why I did it. I was a server for a very long time. I enjoyed it a great deal. But then one day I woke up and I realized, you know what? It's the taking care of the guest. That is my favorite part. But when I have to worry about what my tip is going to be at the end of the table, it changes my focus. I also noticed that as a server a long time ago, when I would think about the amount of money that I was going to make on a particular shift or on a particular table, I didn't make as much. If you compare the two, it's all about being genuine and really accessing the things about the job that you love. That could be different for everyone. For me, I love wine. I was a foodie before I even had my first sip of wine. I wanted to go into culinary school when I was in high school. After, my parents said, no, go to real school first. So I got myself a degree in philosophy and psychology, and what am I doing? I'm running restaurants. So I think choose the job that you know you're going to enjoy and do it to the best of your ability, and you're going to be successful every time.